So we've managed to get our hands on something pretty incredible. It looks like a confidential corporate intelligence report made for one of the biggest players in the whole flying car race. And what it gives us is an exclusive peek inside this high-stakes, secret war to own our future skies. Let's dive right in.
Right in the executive summary, the report opens with this line. And wow, it just perfectly captures the knife's edge this whole industry is on. You see, after a decade of hype, the war is finally here, and for these companies, it is absolutely a winner-take-all fight. The numbers that follow, well, they're just staggering.
Okay, let's start with the market size. The report says that even before a single passenger has flown commercially, this is already a $1.19 billion industry as of 2025. This isn't some future dream. The money is already on the table. But that's just the launch pad.
Now check out the growth rate. The forecast is a nearly 30% compound annual growth rate. That is just explosive. It shows that investors believe this isn't just a gimmick, but a real, fundamental solution to gridlock and short-range travel. You know, that's the kind of number that gets the biggest investors in the world to pull out their checkbooks.
And they have. Over $12 billion in venture capital has already been poured into this sector, all of it betting on this dream of urban air mobility. This isn't some niche experiment anymore. It's a global arms race, and it's being funded by some of the deepest pockets on the planet.
And this number, well, it just shows you the chaos of the early days. At one point, you had over 800 different companies and programs all trying to build a flying car. But as this report makes crystal clear, that number is about to get a whole lot smaller.
The report calls this the defining consolidation phase. Basically, the party's over. The easy money's gone. Now it's all about survival, and the industry is heading into a brutal period where only the absolute strongest are going to be left standing.
So what's the result? Those 800-plus companies have been brutally whittled down to just a handful. The report mentions that really promising players, names you might know like Lilium and Volocopter, they've already collapsed or been bought out, with their tech and their talent just absorbed by the survivors. It's like a corporate Hunger Games, and the final tributes are just now taking the stage.
And right at the center of this war, the report zeroes in on a primary conflict, this head-to-head battle between two American titans, JOBY Aviation and ACHR Aviation. This is the main event, the big rivalry that could define the entire U.S. market.
What's so fascinating here is just how closely matched these two are. I mean, on paper, it's a true clash of titans. Both have raised billions of dollars. Both have locked in huge airline partners. You've got JOBY with Delta and ACHR with United. But the critical detail, the thing to really watch, is timing. JOBY is targeting its certification for 2027, which could give it a 12 to 18-month head start. In a race this tight, that's an eternity. And if we dive a little deeper into their strengths, you can see each one has a unique ace up its sleeve. JOBY has that certification head start, plus a powerful manufacturing partnership with Toyota. But ACHR is playing chess. It's the only company that already has its Part 135 certificate, and that's the FAA's official green light to operate a commercial air taxi service. On top of that, it has the 2028 LA Olympics locked down as its global debut. The fight is definitely on.
But this isn't just an American story, not by a long shot. The report warns that just beyond these frontrunners, there are several powerful global challengers just waiting in the wings, and each one has a very different strategy for how to win this war.
First up, you have the dark horse, Wisk Aero. Now, they aren't just building another flying car, they're building a flying robot. Their entire strategy is this massive, high-stakes bet on a pilotless, totally autonomous future.
And here's why Wisk is so dangerous. They are majority owned by Boeing. Yeah, that Boeing. This gives them access to manufacturing scale and regulatory know-how that is just unparalleled. Sure, their timeline is longer because certifying autonomous flight is a huge challenge, but the report calls them a long-term existential threat. Think about it. If they succeed, they could make pilots obsolete, and that would completely rewrite the economics of the entire industry.
Next up is the sleeping giant Supernal. This is the super secretive subsidiary of the automotive behemoths Hyundai. They've been playing their cards very, very close to the vest, but the report flags them as a threat you just cannot ignore. Supernal's biggest advantage really just comes down to its manufacturing DNA. I mean, if Hyundai can apply its decades of expertise in mass-producing cars to the world of aviation, they could build these aircraft at a cost and a scale that nobody else can even touch. The report is pretty blunt, warning that their production power could become overwhelming.
And then there's Eve Air Mobility, a spin-out from the Brazilian aerospace giant Embraer. Eve is playing a totally different game. They're not just selling you an aircraft, they're selling you an entire global ecosystem, right from day one.
Two things about Eve really stand out. First, it can tap into Embraer's existing global maintenance network, which means customers get day-one support anywhere in the world. And second, and this is huge, it already has the industry's largest pre-order book with nearly 3,000 units. They are winning the sales and logistics war before their aircraft is even certified.
So all this brings us to a really key strategic idea in the report. Winning this war, it's not just about having the best aircraft. It's about building the strongest defenses, what insiders call a competitive moat. For anyone who hasn't heard the term, a competitive moat is basically any advantage that protects a company's profits from its rivals. It could be your brand, your technology, a unique partnership. In this industry, with billions on the line, building the right moat is everything.
And this chart illustrates perfectly who has the strongest defenses right now. The report actually rates each player, and you can see JOBY with its patents and that Toyota partnership right at the top. But look, ACHR and the Boeing-backed Whisk are right there with them, each one using its own unique strengths, like airline deals and manufacturing scale, to build their own moats.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. The final section of the report lays out its strategic recommendations for ACHR. It's essentially a confidential playbook on how to navigate this whole battlefield and actually win the war.
The report identifies 3 key strategic moves. First, go after defense contracts immediately. That gives you stable, early revenue. Second, copy a $250 million deal they already made in Indonesia to expand into emerging markets before anyone else gets there. And third, strategically, develop a next-generation aircraft to own the mid-distance regional routes that nobody is really serving right now. It's a clear, aggressive, and pretty smart plan.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? This report makes it clear that being first to get certified, like JOBY might be, is a huge advantage. But with manufacturing titans like Boeing and Hyundai bringing their immense power to this fight, the long-term winner might not be the fastest, but the one with the most durable competitive moat and the sharpest strategy. The secret war for our skies, it's really just getting started.